The record-setting 2025 mixed sale from the Standardbred Horse Sales Company totaled nearly $38.6 million, with an average exceeding $55,000, including the first ever $1 million weanling and first Standardbred sale to sell 4 $1 million horses. The 2026 sale is November 2nd through the 6th. Check out theblackbook.com for all the details.
Winback Farm of Canada is home to 9 outstanding stallions, including Metro-based champion Captain's Quarters, who's new in 2026. Beach Glass, winner of the Meadowlands Pace and the Last Great Son of Some Beach Somewhere, his first yearling crop sells in 2026. Lawless Shadow, an O'Brien Award winner and Meadowlands Pace champion, whose first crop sells in 2026. The Great McWicked, the richest pacing stallion in harness racing history, and two-time O'Brien Award winner Tattoo Artist, a winner on every size track with many stakes and track records. Also standing, Better Than Cheddar, Betting Line, My MVP, and Trixton. For more information, it's winbackfarm.com.
The starting gate is in motion.
Catcher shoots out.
Change the game for the better. The best place to buy and sell horses. I've had great success. Indispensable. Since holding their first sale in 2001, OnGate.com has become harness racing's leading marketplace, with over 13,500 registered users buying and selling racehorses and bloodstock through daily online auctions. Browse listings for free and buy your next racehorse at OnGate.com. OnGate, we've changed the way the business works.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the HarnessRacing.com show, coming to you live tonight from Goshen, New York, as we're getting ready to induct the class of 2026. I'm your host, Wendy Ross. Going to be joined with quite a few people throughout the next 45 minutes or so on our red carpet event here. Now, we had to move a venue because we had some power issues. You might know this guy standing to my right, my dear friend, my colleague, Hall of Famer, Bob Hollywood Hayden. Bob, good to have you with me.
Well, you know, like moving a venue, things happen, right? Timonium was Harrisburg in 2020 due to the pandemic. This year we had some issues, could be some lightning, who knows. Better to take it inside, especially with all the hot weather. Everybody's happy right now inside.
It's what we do in harness racing. We adapt, and we certainly did that tonight. The people are pouring in here to celebrate. What a wonderful group for 2026.
Oh, it's a fun group. I really like it. There's so many people in here that names you've heard, you're not quite sure. Like Morty Finder comes to mind. Morty Finder was very instrumental in Pine Hollow Farm, but he gave us Bob Bonnie, basically. Greenspeed helped put that farm on the map. The New York Sire Stakes program was struggling in the 60s into the 70s. Morty Finder had a lot to do with reviving it.
Let's talk about you real quick, right? We talk about Hall of Fame status. You went into the Communicators Hall of Fame along with our dear friend Sam McKee. Now, the type of guy Sam McKee was, they said, Sam, you're getting the nod in 2012. Sam said, I'm not going in without Holly. Deservedly, you two went in there and got those rings together. I knew that meant the world to you.
And that's the kind of guy Sam was. You found out after the fact, I did, a lot of people did. There's so many things that Sam did for you that you didn't know until 6, 8, 10 months later. But that was Sam being Sam. There really was. I found people after Sam passed 5, 6, 7 years later telling me Sam was giving people rides, helping them out, taking them places. And a lot of times it was the other way from where he was going. It was in his DNA.
It certainly was, and he was a super individual. And every time we think about him often, especially when we're back here tonight, but talking about some of the communicators going in tonight, a lady that's really special to you, got two people going in, Ellen Taylor's got a lady of your heart, and of course our dear friend Derek Givner, who's just the DRF guy. He's a journalist, he's a racing analyst, both of them exceptional.
Yeah, we'll start with Derek. Derek, I just told Ellen, Derek shows up, he loves the business, he's got opinions, and he's always there. Right off the bat, that's about 80% of what you got to do, right? And Derek is, he's in the weeds. If you see something going on, you hear something going on, look over there. Derek's taking pictures and he's got a notepad, right? And of course, with Ellen, we're 13 years together. 13 years. Our first date was the night I went into the Hall of Fame. 13 years later, she goes in. And if you do nothing else tonight, listen to my introduction to Ellen. It's going to be worth it.
I love reading the story about how you said you guys didn't really connect, but on a June 10th, just 13 years ago, you did, and you haven't missed a date talking since, and look how life's turned out.
Yeah, it's fun because, when I called her on June 10, 2013, I swear I didn't know if she was married with 3 kids. That's the truth. But at some point, I was going to get in touch and talk to her because I tried here or there. I was more curious what she was. Things happened, whatever, and we finally got together. It was the year I went in. It worked out. And the night I went in, my table was already full for the Hall of Fame because I was inviting.
You're popular, you know that.
But I was inviting people, or they were inviting themselves. Early on, I met Ellen after I was announced to be in. So you can't uninvite someone to your own Horse of the Year table, Hall of Fame table. So she understood, and she was a good sport about it.
We talk about the inductees as far as going in, not communicators. We have Mike Kimmelman Sr., of course, of Blue Chip Farms, Marvin Katz, the owner extraordinaire, charities, everything Marvin has done for the industry. David Reed, the breeding specialist that got involved there about 38 years ago with his partner Jeff Stein, has kept it going for Preferred Equine. And Dr. John Tad Edgloff, who's got big contributions as well. Yeah. These are gentlemen among men.
Dr. Egloff is a fixture at Harrisburg. He worked for Land LaBelle and Hanover Shoe Farm, a gentleman supreme. David Reed and Jeff Stein were a formidable combination. A lot of people forget now because Preferred is so prominent. They bought Moneymaker in the mid-'90s and turned her basically into the horse she became. So they had a pretty good ride there. And for Mike Kimmelman, there's no such person in the room who's a most happy fella more than he is tonight. Most happy fella basically was Blue Chip Farms. As a matter of fact, I asked Tom Grossman today, who was a better stallion, more influential, Most Happy Fella or Chapter 7 of Blue Chip Farms? It's close. They both stood stud 13 years.
And what a combination to have a Most Happy Fella and a Chapter 7. It's something to say.
That's right. Chapter 7 is 18 now. Most Happy Fella we lost at 16, but he changed the breed completely. Not New York racing. He changed the breed. And for Marvin Katz, sometimes people forget because he's so prominent with trotters and trotting fillies. His first Breeders' Crown came in '93 with a horse called Expensive Scooter. They brought Dream away after his 2-year-old year and wound up winning the Meadowlands Pace with him. This guy has got his finger on the pulse of pacers and trotters, and let's be honest, he should have been in 10 years ago.
Well, I hope we're able to catch up with at least 3 of the 4. Mike Kimmelman Sr., I hear, is not going to be with us tonight, but that's okay. We'll hope to get a couple of the others on here. Let's move on to the horses. Bettor's Wish, Buckeye St. Pat, Manchego, Nuncio. What a group going into the Living Horse Hall of Fame.
Bettor's Wish made $1.6 million, led. Remember, he got beat in the Messenger at 5 cents and $1. He still led in earnings that year. Buckeye St. Pat, Mickey Burke, and Ron Burke. This is the only one they both won the Dan Patch with. Manchego, 3 straight years, sub 150. She's been a dominant horse. And now Nancy won after Jimmy retired. Remember, she was 2 and 3 with Jimmy. He retired. Nancy wound up with her. She was an absolute beast, 49 flat world record.
How fun was she to watch race? So she was one, and Buckeye St. Pat. I have to say that Manchego was the Buckeye St. Pat in their different generational times.
Yeah, well, Buckeye St. Pat basically morphed into Hanover because that's what you dreamed of with Buckeye. She was real good, and Hanover was great. And then you get a horse like Manchego. She's great every step on the track, but the thing we miss most about Manchego, the rivalry with Atlanta. Remember, they debuted the same year. The first time they met was in the 2017 Hoosier Park Breeders' Crown as 2-year-olds, and that just kept on going, those two. We miss that kind of rivalry.
We talk about the criteria for making it into the Living Horse Hall of Fame. You have to be retired 3 or more years, over $2.5 million in the bank, over 2 Dan Patch awards, or $3 million life, or be a Dan Patch of the year, Horse of the Year. So the criteria is very tight for getting in.
It should be tight. And, Nunzio is an interesting horse. He wasn't off the board the first 4 years he raced. And if it wasn't for a 70-1 shot challenging him tooth and nail in the Hamiltonian, he would have won the Triple Crown. He would have been in 5 years ago. And you'd know the name Nunzio a lot more than you do now. He did win 2/3 of the Triple Crown. He was a great horse and kind of flew under the radar, Nunzio, because remember, that was the year he had Father Patrick and Trixton. Nunzio, it's hard to believe he can make $3.6 million and fly under the radar. He did. He also won the Swedish Breeders' Crown later on.
And I remember being over there for the Elite Lop when he won for Stefan Melander that day. He was just an absolute great horse to watch.
He really is. He's a fun horse, and a son of Andover Hall, and Nunzio is only 15 years old. It's pretty early to go into the Hall of Fame for him. And back to Manchego, sub 150, 3 straight years. That's going to be tough. How about Bettor's Wish? 3 straight years Chris Ryder had the Horse of the Year runner-up. Why do I mention that? Because he wound up having the Horse of the Year right after that.
And what about, we got to give those immortals a little bit of a shout out too, right? Especially Beef Arbor.
Beef Arbor was Caitlin Clark before Caitlin Clark was. She won 1,801 races. she was a dominant force. She was like a bulldozer, and she did her own excavating. Everybody from that point on, every female owes Beef Harbor a big, big thank you.
Well, we owe you a big, big thank you for letting us kick off our night with all that valuable information. We know you got big speeches to give tonight for Ellen. I know we didn't want to spill too much.
Introduction. I don't want to overshadow her, but mine is really going to be the one you watch. Make sure you watch that one.
Thank you so much. Now we're ready. We're bringing on we got Dr. Engloff. He's one of our entrants. Hi, Doc. Hello. Is this your wife? Hello. Wendy Ross. So nice to meet you. Doc, nice to see you. Nice. And I'm so glad that you brought her on because she is such a big part of your story, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, they say behind every great man is a great woman, and I think your story is one of those, definitely for sure. A lady that said, you know what, we're going to believe in your dream. She kind of put hers on hold, and what a dream it's turned out for both of you.
It's turned out great, and I wouldn't be here without her. When she came along, I was getting a little wild, and she calmed me down.
You know, I love the story, thinking about you, Doc, that, you know, you started out as reading the story that he was a cattleman and a rancher.
Right.
And you said, you know what, maybe this is something you didn't want to do. You wanted to be a vet, though, and you knew that.
Well, I'll tell you that story when I give my speech tonight.
But you went on to be a vet and then made your way from Kentucky to Pennsylvania, then down under, back to Pennsylvania. What made you say, Pennsylvania, you wanted to make it home?
Well, when I first came, I did not want to make it home. I'd never been north of the Mason-Dixon line. This was temporary. Just went because of the money. But we got up there and kind of liked it, and she put a thing on the wall saying, bloom where you're planted. And anyway, then we got that chance to go to Australia, came back, wasn't sure what we were going to do, and Alan wanted me to come back to Land Lobel. We did.
New Orleans, and that's when I said he brought me to Pennsylvania. And I said, okay, bloom where I'm planted.
A little different food up there in Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah.
Now, one thing to her credit, I have to say, reading the story, hearing your guys' story, is when the decision came to go down under, she had just, 2 children under 4 years old. She packed them right up, and she believed in you. She said, let's go, John.
She had one 4 months old and one 2 years old. And it's part of what I was going to say tonight, but when I got the call from Dr. McGee at Hager Davis McGee, had me another job down south. Where down south? I said Australia. So how soon do I have to let you know? He said, real quick. Our breeding season there starts. So I turned to her and I said, how long would it take us to get ready to go to Australia? She said, I can start packing now. 10 days later, we landed in Australia.
And Doc, even standing here talking to you guys today, you just seem like a team that just did it because you loved it. But to be going into the Hall of Fame, what's that mean to you?
Well, considering how many of my clients and friends are in the Hall of Fame, it's a tremendous honor to get to join them and realize how far back I go. And so when I walk through it today looking, it's unbelievable. He was my client, my friend. He was, go all the way from way back, So I have so many former clients and friends that are in the Hall of Fame.
And one thing about you joining the other gentlemen going in this year, I said to Bob Hayden just recently, I said, you guys are gentlemen among men doing things for the industry that many people didn't even know, but how much of an impact you had on it. And what's that mean for you?
Means a lot. It means a lot. I'm very proud of that. Yeah.
Who did we bring with us tonight? Just you two, or do we have the kids with us?
No.
The whole table?
I've got my 2 sons and daughter are here, and how many of our grandchildren are here? 4 of our grandchildren are here. 2 of them couldn't make it. They're in Europe right now.
Lucky them, right?
Yeah, and my one grandson who's a major in the Marines, he's stationed out in California. He couldn't make it. So we've got a big golf contingent here.
Well, if I had to say one thing, they couldn't make it. But hey, guys, He made it, and we're so glad to have you and honoring you into the 2026 class for the Hall of Fame. We're going to let you guys enjoy your evening. Thank you so much for standing by and for stopping by, and we will see you up on the podium to see what you have. Now, our next we have, okay, bye-bye. Thank you so much. Derek, we're going to get you on my right.
I'm here.
Can I just start? Big hug. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you.
You know what? For the communicators, all of us communicators out there right now, I want to let you weigh in on this too. Congratulations, first off. Well deserved. Talked with Holly, so you know we got a long-winded thing to start off the night, right? We talked about Sam McKee, though. Him and Sam go in 2012. Something else happened in 2012. You said, hey, DRF, harness racing matters. I'm going to take it over, right? And congratulations. And what a great example they were. And I know it's an honor for them. Look, Sam looking down to have you joining him on that wall.
Yeah, I love Sam. I mean, Sam's probably the only funeral I went to, like, ever, like, you know, because...
And cried. Agreed. Same.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, how could you miss that? And, you know, DRF Harness started probably in 2011, 2010, just the idea of it, and then just keep pushing and pushing and pushing to try to get it done, and finally launched in 2012. And you know what? Here we are. We're still here.
For a guy like you that wears so many hats, from having the journalism background and having all the hats, all the awards you've won, what do you like doing best? Do you like writing, or do you like? You're pretty good on air too.
You know what really makes me happy? Doing the covers for the newsletter. You know, I'm not a graphic artist. I don't know anything about that kind of thing, but I just enjoy putting it together and trying to come up with a good idea for the cover and looking at it afterwards. And sometimes I say, wow, I did a good job this week, you know?
Talk about the success that DRF has and the impact that they have on the sport, especially for the handicappers and the bettors out there that gets all that information out to them. It's nothing to go on X or Facebook or any of our platforms and see you guys have that information out quickly. What does that mean for you to have it out and to give out that information to everyone watching?
Yeah, we live in a now world. Everyone wants everything right away. You know, and our original idea was, let's put it out there as soon as we can. Like, let's be the first one to put a recap story out there. Let's be the first one to put it up on X or something like that. You know, and I think people appreciate that, and I think that got us some more eyes, maybe. You know, it's kind of an interesting world we live in now. You know, and if you don't do something in 3 seconds, they want to know why it wasn't there in 3 seconds. And then if you make a mistake in those 3 seconds, they're on you for making the mistake in those 3 seconds. So it's strange.
Now, when you think about everything that you've accomplished along the way, is there anything you're particularly proud of from all your awards and your accolades?
Yeah, that's a tough question. You know what? I'm not really one to give a lot of self-praise. You know, I guess my Hervey Awards, you know, it's kind of nice to be recognized that someone read what I wrote and thought it was worthy of getting an award. So I'd go with those.
When you think about the sport of harness racing, in our roles particularly, how do you feel like it's going moving forward? And are you proud of where it's been?
I'm proud of the history of it. I'm proud of the work I've done it. I mean, I'd like to see it, you know, move forward maybe as more of a communal thing, you know, where everyone could just work together to move us forward. Because I think if you look at any other sports organization, they do it as a team when they move forward. They move forward with one goal, one agenda. And I don't know that we always do that. So maybe in the future, we could always hope.
About the class of 2026, the gentlemen going in here, we just talked to Dr. Engloff, and of course Holly and I spoke on it earlier. Gentlemen among men, guys that aren't trainers. We don't have any drivers going in this year, but we have guys that are game-changing guys behind the scenes over the years.
Absolutely. A guy like Dave Reed, who, I mean, I don't know how he runs the sales company and gets it all done. And you watch him at Lexington, he's running all over the place like crazy. It's amazing watching him run all over the place, and I'm like, wow, that guy's working up a good sweat there. You know, he might be working harder than me. That's impressive.
Now I know before I let you go, we're so glad to have you on tonight. You have your family with you. I see your daughter just celebrated a birthday.
Absolutely. Jenna just turned 20. You know, she's going into her junior year of college. You know, and hopefully a couple of years from now she can find a good job. And I don't know that it'll be in harness racing, but it might be in sports somewhere. That would be nice.
But it's really cool to get to meet her. We've got to see her out on the road over the last couple of years. She loves seeing you, and she's proud of her dad.
Absolutely, and my younger daughter Emily as well. I mean, she's 15. She's got a couple more years to go before she gets there, but I think she likes the horse racing more than Jenna does. Jenna's not really a horse racing girl, but Emily, you know, you bring her to a barn, she'll feed some carrots, she'll pet the horses, she's into it.
Derek, thank you so much for stopping by tonight on our red carpet. So well deserved, and I know you deserve be up there on the wall with all the other great communicators we've had. We're going to wish you a great night tonight. We're going to welcome in the other communicator tonight. Thank you, Derek. Oh, there she goes. She does deserve that. There you go. My very favorite. Hello, Ellen. How are you doing?
Just fine, thank you.
Now, this is funny because Holly, I had to be Mom had to be up here, and you, I'm down here.
Yes, always.
Now, how are you feeling tonight? You look lovely.
Thank you.
Now, I was interviewing Bob, and I said, how's Ellen doing? He's like, oh, she's nervous. She's nervous. You seem cool as a cucumber.
He's more nervous than I am.
I think he is, right? And I kept him under control. I said, Bob, you got to only give us tidbits tonight. I don't want to hear the whole speech here on the red carpet, right? You got to save it for the podium.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, let's talk.
I don't have no idea what he's going to say.
Well, you know it's going to be good, right?
Absolutely.
It definitely is, and it's so well-deserved for you. Let's talk about all your work. You've done 30-plus years with the Harness Horse Youth.
Actually, 48.
48. Oh, my goodness. Is that your mom included, or is that you personally?
That's me personally.
That's a good run, right?
I was 13 when I started.
So we're going way back, way back. Okay. Well, I think I read something where it said kids and horses equals magic. But let me say, you've made magic out of this foundation. Many kids' smiles, and you've gotten so many young kids into it over the years.
I looked around Goshen today, and it was very gratifying because there were so many graduates, and I was going, that one, that one, that one. But we couldn't do it without support.
And they come up to you and they said, hi, Miss Ellen. Everyone is always so excited to see you.
Absolutely.
Now, let me talk about your parents that aren't with us any longer. Your mom, Margot, went into the Immortal Hall of Fame just 3 years ago. You said, Mom, I'm coming too, right? But thank goodness we're still got you here.
Well, it was an honor for her. And I'm humbled. That's for sure.
Now, all the things that you've been accomplishing over the last couple years as far as the accolades, I was so excited. It was such an honor for me to interview for the Lady Pace Honoree down there in Delaware last year and to be welcoming you into the Communicators Hall of Fame alongside Bob and so many great others. That's got to mean the world to you.
It does. It really does. And like I say, there's no substitute for being honored by your peers.
And I know you talk about being honored by your peers, but I know how much your parents meant to you and the foundation they laid. And you've kept their legacy going, the person you are, and of course getting in here to the Hall of Fame. There's just not enough words, I think, to really say how special it is.
That's true.
Well, Ellen, I'm going to let you get back to it. I know we're so glad you found time for us. And we're going to wish you the best of luck tonight and keep Bob under control, okay? I know you will.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, and we're so good to see you. Who do we have? Oh, Mike Kimmelman. Okay. We have Mike Kimmelman Jr. as Mike Kimmelman Sr. is not going to be able to be with us. Hi, Mike. Come over here to this side. Good to see you.
How are you?
How are you doing? So we're not going to be able to see your dad tonight.
No Chief tonight.
Okay.
But he was coming, and with 105 on Thursday when he was supposed to start the trip, his doctor told him, you're out of your mind. You're 87, and you only get a chance to mess it up once. So you're staying home.
Let's talk about 87 years old. And, of course, what a family tradition going all the way back to your grandpa, Oscar, who then bought the farm, the 600 acres, Blue Chip Farms, Blue Chip, tradition, harness racing. It's what you think of.
Yeah, there's no question. I moved to Delaware a little over a year ago and drove in last night. We're driving around and went through the farm. And, Oscar and my dad were members of this country club that we switched to, 40-something years ago. And it's home up around here. It's very familiar. So we drove around a bit, and the kids were up from Carolina and Jersey. So it's a lot of great memories around here.
Now, how about your dad? All the responsibility he had, of course, being a Wall Street banker for the time that he was, and then running Blue Chips Farm for a lot of the time until he passed it on there. Wow, that's a lot to accomplish, and what a great run he had under him.
Yeah, no question. And maybe the most unusual thing that he did with all of his accomplishments, I'm sure you're Moira say tonight, 25 years after he cashed out, no skin in the game, he's still on the Hamiltonian Society. I used to think it was maybe to do for me or for Tommy Grossman, who bought the farm from him, and he felt the responsibility to keep the business going, but it really wasn't. He loves the business, he loves the people in the business, and for 25 years, he's done it for absolutely nothing.
And what about the New York Sire Stakes, right? He came in and said, we're going to make a difference here, and what a difference he's made, and the program has just blossomed to become what it is now.
No question, and originally there were tax laws that made it lucrative to do such a thing, but Most Happy Fella really changed things in New York and on a national, international scale, filtering all the way down to Better's Delight and Sons of His. But Speedy Crown came behind him once Lana Lobel showed up. And Pine Hollow was here, and Castleton Farm had a presence. But it all followed on the heels of the New York Sire Stakes program and what they were able to do, generating money at the time from purses. And then eventually, New York followed behind Canada and Delaware, got a VLT program, and there was a rebirth, and we did it all over again. And
your dad's such a key part, but your dad is such a key part of that saying. They said, go down there and see the lobbyists. Your dad said, I read, if this is correct. He said, no, I fired the lobbyists, and this is how we're going to do it.
He did then, but we very much use the lobbyists now. They hold the keys to the city now, so we do need them. But he told the story, and we continue to tell the story of green space. And, it's an agricultural business that has a great relationship with gaming. But without the ag side, I don't think we'd be here because we couldn't tell the story we tell. And without the gaming side, we wouldn't be here either. So it's a good marriage.
Mike, if you had to walk away tonight and people watching or everyone that's coming tonight, what would you want them to walk away knowing about your dad?
He loves the business and he loves the animals. He loves the people. He just loves the people. He fell in love with the business as a kid. He's incredibly good with numbers. So was his father. They always felt they had an advantage. They loved gambling on the racing, but the excitement, the business introduced him to amazing people, and that's his real love of the business is the people in the business.
And I said this to a couple of other guys going in with this group of 2026, the Hall of Famers. They're all game changers in their own right, and your dad is definitely doing that, especially here in New York for Blue Chip.
Yeah, in Canada, they have for their Hall of Fame, they call them builders. And I think that you're seeing, people involved tonight as a group that are people, we see you every year at the USTA meetings. You know what it takes to move the needle this much. How much time over years and years of proactive work that nobody sees. And there's a lot of people in the business that take and earn on the backs of the people that lay those foundations. A lot of the people tonight are people that have laid those foundations.
One more thing before I let you go. Of course, Blue Chip right down there in Walk Hill, New York, right down the road. And your dad makes it here to the Hall of Fame at Goshen, New York, right down the road. What did he say when he found out?
He was really thrilled, and his contemporaries, many of them that aren't with us anymore, are in there. And he served with so many of them on the things that they were working to do. But they were friends, and like you can go through the list. I'll name a few tonight. It doesn't even begin to scratch it. I grew up with all these people, and most of them were babysitters to me. And to be, as he put it, reunited with some of his best friends and heroes is really big for him.
Mike, thank you so much for stopping by. We're sorry we missed your dad, but hey, 105 degrees. Doc said not going to be able to do it, so we're going to let you go. I'm sure you got a great evening planned to celebrate your dad tonight. We have another gentleman coming up, another guy from New York. You might know this guy. David Reed is with us. Mike, thank you so much. Enjoy your night.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Tell the chief. You're looking sharp.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
He would have if he made it.
Hi. Congratulations. Wow.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. I go back to our interview last year in Lexington, right? To be back here, now we know you made the class last year, but to be having this interview again here as you're getting inducted, congratulations, my friend.
Yeah, no, listen, it's great. And when it first happens, it really hasn't sunk in, but it's more of a reality now, and you're here and things like that. And, as I'll address in my speech tonight, just to join, so many great horses, great people, great institution, a lot of history, and to think that your name's going to be there forever that's pretty special.
I was talking with Derek Givner just a few moments ago, and we mentioned you, or you're running around the sales. He's like, Wendy, I don't know how he does it. And I said, I agree. We have the glasses up on the head, glasses down. We're in, we're out. The sales. Talking about preferred, though, you and your partner Jeffrey Stein started it 38 plus years ago. We lost Jeffrey, but you get to join him in the Hall of Fame here tonight.
Yeah, and you know what? Truth of the matter is, it's a lot of times it becomes scale, and
we do a lot, and we have a lot of data, and you have a lot of preparation. But, doing it for so long and understanding what it takes to pull a sale off, whether we're managing it for Lexington Selected or being a consignor at Harrisburg or selling yearlings or selling racehorses or selling online now. It's all preparation, knowledge, data, customer relations, know your customers. So it does make it look easy, but we know it's not easy, but we're happy to be able to facilitate that on a scale that's productive for everybody. So, and Jeff, when we were different and great team and things like that. And, as Dave Briggs, mentioned today, there's only one Jeff. There's probably only one Dave that can get along, you know what I'm saying, and understand. Jeff and myself, we knew back of our hand, in front of our hand. Someone said Jeff said this, he'd always say, I don't think Jeff would have said that. Or someone said, hey, Dave said this, he would say, Dave, did you say that? No. So we had we had our backs for each other, and he's just a great guy, and it's, it was a long run. We've been doing it a long time, and we're happy.
And when you describe Jeff, you say one word, irreplaceable, and you never replaced him. You said, this is how it's going to be done from here on, and you've taken on so much more. You're kind of both guys now, right? And business is good.
Yeah, business is good. The service to the client is the most important thing, and we maybe strengthened our backup staff, because Jeff, Jeff enjoyed his relaxation. So, and it's not a criticism, but he always had a phrase: "Don't confuse effort with results." And so, it's more of just getting the team together and rallying, and maybe amping up a little more. But I think he'd be proud of the continuation. And but obviously, it started with him and us together, and the foundation was laid.
How about you, though? Starting out here, born in New York, you're from New York, to be joining the Walls here in Goshen, New York, just a kid that grew up on a dairy farm. Jeff Stein gave you the big shot, but you proved to him that you deserve that. How do you feel, though, going in, knowing that you did it? You literally did it, and you did it selflessly, too.
Yeah, I think you don't think about it. I think you just do it. And I know that's the case with myself. I'm not a very egotistical guy, and I'm a team guy, and I'm a we guy, and I'm not an I guy. And there's a lot of people, as I'll say tonight, there's a lot of people who make this night special. Not only for the institution, but for myself and our organization. And there's a lot of organizations, like Lexington Selected, Tattersalls, Red Mile, even the sales when we had at the Meadowlands. The Meadowlands, they received income for that. So it was good for the Meadowlands to be able to host that. And by losing that after COVID, they have to readjust. And there's been such a long period of time. You have to adjust, readjust, and adjust again. And I think that's one thing, that the validity of our organization, we've been able to do that almost seamlessly. And I think there's a feather in the whole organization's cap.
Before I went on tonight, I was catching up with Frank Antonacci Jr., and his dad Sr., who's a very wise gentleman. All of the Antonaccis and they're all here in the Hall of Fame. They have only the highest things to say about you. I know that means so much.
It does.
One of many.
Yeah, but part of the reason why I'm here is because I hang around guys like them.
That's the key to life, right? Yeah.
Hang around. We always say surround yourself with good people, and just always try to be kind, try to be fair, but surround yourself with good people. It makes a big difference.
I love this outfit tonight. I have to give it compliments. You got to, of course, have the preferred maroon tie on, right? Now, who dressed you tonight? Was this your idea?
It was actually my idea initially. After watching the O'Brien Awards, seeing Marvin in a black tie, I presented to Janet, and I said, what do you think? She said, I think it would be great. Has anybody ever done it? She says, not to her knowledge. So then she said, but you got to get everybody on board. So I called Marvin. He was going to be on board. And then I saw Tad Egloff.
He's right behind me. He's next to us. He's on board.
He said he was going to be on board, but
he's on board.
No, Tad Egloff.
Tad, no.
Marvin is not.
He was, yeah.
So Marvin looks like $1 million. I look like $100,000, but that's okay.
No, I don't believe that. Well, you're both worth way more than that, and we're so glad to have you in this class. Is exceptional, as I've been saying this whole red carpet. No trainers, drivers going in tonight, but this group of gentlemen, you included, game changers across the board.
Right. Well, listen, I said that to Yannick congratulated me today, and I said, it seems a little weird, no drivers and trainers to go in. And he said, well, listen, it's a lifetime achievement. It's a lifetime of work and whatever. And to hear that from a Hall of Famer like that, it's Chuck Sylvester, Michael LaChance, John Campbell, and all these names that you idolized before they're making these comments to you. That's it really does.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, hits home for sure.
Well, we're going to let you get to it, and we thank you so much for stopping by. If you want to watch our interview from Lexington, Kentucky last year, it's on our U.S. Trotting page. It was a great interview. Really had a lot of fun. You find out a lot more about David Reed. David, from dairy farming to a boy on the dairy farm, which I know you're proud of, to right here to the Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yep, thank you. Oh, hot dog. So good. Looking so dapper. Now we're coming. Oh, hi, Mr. Katz. How are you? Bring her on. Bring her on. Doctor, hello. So nice to see you. Hello, Wendy. Hi, nice to see you. I love this dress you have on tonight. So now we just interviewed David.
Yes,
He's
yes.
black tie.
Yes.
Now he said you were gonna. You got the memo. You guys got the memo.
So it was David's idea. He thought, let's raise the bar a little bit. And so he said, let's the four of us, more of the inductees. So, but I said, I'll only do if everyone else agrees to it. So the four of us agreed to it.
Maybe it'll be trending for next year, right? We're going to up it up a little bit, right?
Exactly, raise the bar.
Marvin, it's so nice to have you on, and so well deserved to have you joining these halls for the American Hall of Fame. It's something. Congratulations.
Thank you, Wendy. It's an incredible honor. I've got goosebumps. I'm thrilled.
The best part of the story I love is, I know Dave Briggs just put out a story about his challenge accepted was kind of the thing, to where you love a challenge, right? From your career. So I love the story that you read about you sitting up in the Red Mile. You had no really great horses. You said, why am I here? Am I even going to have a horse to race here with just a turn of the fist and a little bit of luck, which we all make our own luck. So I know you did that somewhere along the way. Here we are.
Yeah, so I'm sitting up in the grandstand of the Red Mile, and you know how much I enjoy it and how much success we've now had there. And I sat there wondering, what do I have to do to have a horse race there? Not alone win, just race there. But fortunately, we've had great horses, and we're very thankful.
Now, if I had to ask one question, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, because you guys have had so many great memories, great horses, great moments. Is there one that sticks out, though, that you'd want people to know that was your favorite horse, favorite memory, favorite win?
My
favorite
memory is meeting my wife.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness.
Sort of partial to the sisters.
Ariana G and all the time. It's a remarkable feat. We bred them both, and they won the Breeders' Crowns, the Hamiltonian Oaks, back to back, and we bred them. And it's just I don't think it's ever been done, and I doubt it'll ever be done again.
Well, you have to wonder where the most success comes. Is it from the owning side of it, the breeding side, or the philanthropy that you've come in and that you've brought in the last couple of years for the Breeders' Crown Challenges, raising almost upwards of $3 million? That's something. I mean, what do you think you hang your hat on the most with those three accomplishments?
They're all great. They're all great. Not one particular thing. They're all great, Wendy. What do you think?
I think they're all great, but I think he's distinguished himself in the industry by starting the philanthropy and giving back to every community that we race in. And I think that will be part of your legacy, and never forgotten, that it's not only that we're in it for the racing or the breeding, but we recognize the fans, we recognize everyone that is a part of this wonderful industry, and Marvin found a way to capture it and give it back, and each year he makes it better and better, if you know.
You certainly do. And if you think about the horses, $5 million, you've had 5 horses that you've bred, that sold for over $1 million. Wow.
Yeah. Just a testament to the people that we work with, and the Broodmare Band, and the program that we develop. It's extremely high quality, and I'm proud of it, obviously, but all the people that are around us have helped build that program, and they deserve a lot of that credit, Wendy.
Now, when we talk about all of the trainers, drivers that are special to you, any particular that, I know it's hard to name them all, but any particular that have really stood out to you through your owning career and breeding?
Jimmy Tactor would be at the forefront. We've had a long relationship with Jimmy. He's a dear friend. I'm going to mention him tonight as well. He's had a profound impact. Not in any way, Julie and Andy Miller and.
Oh my goodness, they're literally walking by. Hi.
I just mentioned.
Congratulations. This is what we love about the red carpet. This is what we love, right?
I was just
interviewed. Hi. Julie, hi. You're on the red carpet.
Oh, well, great. With red
So
carpet
he's
people.
asking about my favorite trainer. What did I just say?
He said he mentioned you. You were the first. Jimmy?
I actually mentioned Andy.
Andy's in there too.
Third.
Guys, what is it? Why we have you here, though? Why we have you, Marvin, here? What a wonderful man to be joining the Hall of Fame in 2026.
You're going to make me cry. I'm telling you why. He has made me a better person, better trainer, and to want more and to want to achieve more. And I owe a lot of my career to Marvin. That's why I'm here tonight. Some great recipients tonight, and Marvin's one of them.
There we have it, and that's what it's really all about. So thank you guys for stopping by. We'll be seeing you on our red carpet in a few years, I'm sure. Bye bye, Marvin.
Yes.
Thank you so much for stopping by. It's so nice to have you with us. Like I said, it's so well deserved. Everything we haven't even had time to mention everything that this gentleman has done. All of the fun times. Challenge accepted. Hang around people that are better than you and surround yourself with good people. That's the message tonight, and have the success you've had. Bye bye, guys. See you later. Bye bye. Break. We're done. Oh, we're done? Oh man, they're telling me we're done, everyone. We have a great night to look forward to honor this great inducted class of 2026. We hope you enjoyed our red carpet. It kind of comes and it goes really, really fast. Until next time, I'm Wendy Ross for US Trotting. Stay with us to enjoy the festivities and all of the ceremonies coming your way this evening. Thanks for watching.
Top of the stretch for the $400,000 Carl Milstein Memorial. They approach the start, and they're off. Going along the inside, Captain Victorious right alongside Century Pharaoh as they move around the opening turn. Better's Wish is there in early third. Over there to be fourth, Yankee Boots on the outside working on a mystery. Then over there next is Rocky Got Framed and the trailer Southwind Aussie as they move up the back stretch the first time. And Better's Wish has come on to get the lead. Better's Wish out there now by a length and a half. Captain Victorious there in second. Century Pharaoh is there in third opening quarter. A very moderate 28-2 as they move up and around the turn. Better's Wish on the lead. Captain Victorious there in second up on the outside. Working on a mystery is third. Century Pharaoh is there in fourth. Outside now Southwind Aussie in fifth as they straighten away to the half. Then at the rail is a Yankee Boots. The trailer Rocky Got Framed as they swing here under the line the first time in 57 seconds. It is Better's Wish who is on the lead. On to the outside now second, working on a mystery right there in third is Captain Victorious. Out there to be next is Southwind Aussie. On the inside, Century Pharaoh with the Rocky Got Framed and Yankee Boots as they're up the backside on their way to three quarters. That leader, Better's Wish. Right there, Captain Victorious in second. On the outside, working on a mystery, three quarters, 124-1. Moving around their final turn, the leader is Better's Wish. There in second is Captain Victorious. On the inside, Century Pharaoh third. Out there, three wide, Southwind Aussie. They're at the top of the stretch in the Carl Milstein Memorial. And it's Better's Wish who's trying to sprint away here. Better's Wish is all alone. Better's Wish by 3 on the line, 150 3/5.
The Trotters have reached the backstretch, and they are underway to open up the Breeders' Crown here, and it's a quick start for Autumn Escapade. She steps out there by about a neck. On the inside, Ursa Hanover is away well. She finds the pocket while Buckeye St. Pat manages to tuck their third past the 8th mile marker. Next up is Windsong Soprano, single file back to Elusive Desire. Then it's Southwind Wasabi trotting 6th. At the end of the field, Jersey AS. Autumn Escapade takes this field around the turn of the quarter in 27 2/5. And now Buckeye St. Pat makes her move on the outside for Tim Tetrick, goes after the lead of Autumn Escapade, who tries to string her out, and Buckeye St. Pat manages to clear at the 3/8 pole. Autumn Escapade now back in the pocket, and now it's Ron Pierce making a first over move for Windsong Soprano around that clubhouse turn. Inside fourth there, Ursa Hanover, following cover Elusive Desire. At the back, Southwind Wasabi and Jersey AS. They get to the half in 55-1, 27-4. Second panel, scalding pace here up on the front end. Buckeye St. Pat has the lead by a length. On the outside, Windsong Soprano still hasn't been able to take over second. Holding onto the pocket there is Autumn Escapade. Ursa Hanover is fourth, only 2 lengths back, but she's buried on the inside. Second over fifth now is Elusive Desire. At the back there are Southwind Wasabi and Jersey AS. Buckeye St. Pat unchallenged on the back, 3/4, 124 even, 28-4 on the backside. Up front, Buckeye St. Pat, the defending champ, here leads it by a length. Autumn Escapade still lurking there in the pocket. Ursa Hanover is third. At the top of the stretch now, Tetrick asks for more, and Buckeye St. Pat is responding. All out there, Autumn Escapade, but Buckeye St. Pat is trotting away. A mesmerizing performance by Buckeye St. Pat. She wins it by 2 full lengths and defends her crown. Autumn Escapade second.
Har nu 100 meter kvar till start. Där släpper startbilen i vägfältet invändigt, provar ett Almecter Pré. Utifrån 4 Nancio. Längre ut i banan har vi 6 Royal Fighter. Men det är ett Almecter Pré som har tagit hand om ledningen där bakom 4 Nancio. Längre ut i banan 6 Royal Fighter. Med det som fjärde 2 Timoko. Där som femte 3 Resolve. Ur svängen med 1 Anmekter Pré ner i ledarryggen. 6 Royal Fighter. I andra spår finns 4 Nancy och 2 Tim och K. Nummer 1 Anmekter Pré har travat 500 meter på 07,6. Tredje ytter 3 Resolve. Med som 3 på innen 7 Billy de Montfort. Dennis rygg 8 Oasis B. Allra längst bak i fältet har vi 5 Propulsion. Drygt 900 meter till mål. 1 Anmekter Pré. Där bakom 6 Royal Fighter. 4 Nuncio får gå den tunga vägen utvändigt ledare 1 Anmekter Pré. Längre ner i andra spår har vi duon 2 Tim och gå 3 Resolve. Alldeles strax upp till kilometern. Sjösförväck tillsammans med 1 Anmekter Pré. Har avvecklat 1000 meter. 09,6. Har fortsatt en längd till utvändig i 4 Nuncio. 6 Royal Fighter finns på innerspår längre ut i banan. Svanen på gång tillsammans med 3 Resolve. Med i dennes rygg 5 Propulsion. 1 Anmekter Pré. Längden finns till utvändig i 4 Nancio. Invändigt 6 Royal Fighter. Då har vi ledande 1 Anmekter Pré vid upploppets början. Nancio är tapper, kämpar som en furie. 1 Anmekter Pré. Här kommer Nancio! Det är 4 Nancio före 3 Resolve. Det är 4 Nancio!
Blue Chip, the world champion filly at 7-2. All set for the Hambletonian Oaks. And they are away and trotting. Live, Laugh, Love is out fast, trying to blast off on the outside. Manchego. Fatosa flashing speed. Plunge Blue Chip on the inside. Shoots out there. So it's Plunge Blue Chip and Manchego squaring off. Fatosive is pushed into play by Tron Smetshammer. What a knockout settles in. Seviorum is 5th as they march around the first turn to the quarter. Hey Blondie is 6th. Live, Laugh, Love. Tried to leave. Is parked out now near the rear of the field with Lily Stride, then Blonde Magic and Nixie Volo. Opening quarter for Manchego. Elimination winner in front by 2.5, 27-2. Manchego paves the way and controls it with Yannick Gingras across the backstretch. Plunge Blue Chip and Okie Svanstead. Going to set up shop in the pocket spot here and draft as they race across the backstretch. The pace slowing now. Fatosive tightens in from 3rd. Oh, what a knockout 4th on the inside. Seviorum is 5th to the outside. Hey Blondie 6th, tracked by Live, Laugh, Love. And then it's Lily Strada on the outside, followed by Blonde Magic and Nixie Volo. Can see them all. Half up in 54-2. 28-2 rating in that second quarter. Manchego getting her own way. Perfect trip for Plunge Blue Chip, and he deuce pops right now and takes a shot. As Okie Svanstead senses that Manchego and Yannick Gingras trying to steal away. Manchego bracing now for Plunge Blue Chip on the outside, who takes her shot right now. And Fatosiv's in gear, 3rd on the outside. And what a knockout. Gaps on the inside, picked off with Seviorum. To their outside, Hey Blondie trying to rally as they turn home. Manchego passing 3/4 in 1:23-2. In the stretch of the Hambletonian Oaks, it's Manchego on the inside. Plunge Blue Chip on the outside, pouring it on. Fatosive trying to rally and give her all. Manchego digging in, needs the line. Here comes Fatosive. Tron Smetshammer needs a final lunge, but it's Manchego. Manchego and Yannick Gingras. Then Fatosive, Plunge Blue Chip, and Hey Blondie. Manchego wins it in 150, a stakes record.
My apologies, I needed a 30-second timeout because we have a little adjustment. So,
Live TV.
I'm not sure whose I broke, but I broke somebody's. So every year, the Restoration Raffle raises money for the care and conservation treatment of art and artifacts within the museum's collection. Last year's raffle provided funds for the restoration of several new acquisitions, and this year we look to surpass last year's generous results. If you have not yet purchased your chance to win one of the great prizes donated to the event, please see Rebecca Howard, located by the door, to get your last-minute tickets. And as you leave tonight, please stop by the door to see if you are a winner. Thank you. At this time, Seth Rosenfeld will step up to the plate.
Thank you. Thank you. And after this, you won't see me anymore. I'm happy to report. With a 2-year-old record of 148-3, earnings of over $1.2 million, Bojangles won all 12 of his starts, including the Grade 1 Metro and the Grade 1 Breeders' Crown, and did so in unbelievable fashion. He was voted the Dan Patch and the O'Brien Horse of the Year. Accepting is his breeder, David Heffering. Congratulations. Thank you. Seth? Hold on. Seth? We actually have it. That's good. Thank you. This is little guy. Let's see.
Did not break it? For those of you who have been here in the past, you kind of know the sequence of events, but tonight we're going to change it up a little bit, keep you guys guessing. So, this year, our first award winners are going to be 2 of our 4-legged immortals. A winner of 30 out of 42 starts with 3 Breeders' Crown wins, 3 Dan Patch trophies, earnings in excess of $1.9 million. He set a world record of 148-4 at 3 and became the first horse ever to break 150 on a half-mile track. Jenna's Beach Boy is a true immortal champion. Accepting for Jenna's Beach Boy are his owners, Lee and Linda DeVisser.
Hey, thank you so much.
Marco, here we go. Go this way. A little more this way. Okay. You know, these photographers are always picking. Okay, right here. Okay, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you.
You guys just Our next immortal was an exceptional race mare and a historic broodmare. A winner of 14 of 15 starts at 2, earning her the Dan Patch 2-year-old Filly of the Year. She had 19 wins and 31 career starts and earned in excess of $1.2 million. A great race mare. She was even better as a broodmare. The dam of 5 foals, all with a record of 150 or better, including 2 who became prominent stallions, Rocking Image and Tell.
Person who couldn't come, and that's Mike Kimmelman. The chief
I'm sure you'll hear a lot about his accomplishments. I'm sure you know about his accomplishments. But to me, the greatest thing that he communicates to people is a love of life. We bonded over our love of food and drink, and that's been an ongoing relationship. And he's a great guy, a good friend, and a person who made sure everybody fell in love with harness racing in his family, in his business, and in his friends. And then once you were in love with harness racing, we moved on to food and drink. So it's really very sad that he couldn't be here, but he's here in spirit, every glass of wine, every mushroom. Welcome, Mike Kimmelman.
The original Mike Kimmelman's from New York. I am Mike Kimmelman, but I'm from Delaware. That said, most of you people from New York are a lot nicer than I've been told. Thanks, Moy. Chief often says you carried him longer than his mother. We know that to be true. My dad is very sorry he couldn't make it. It was very important to him to make this trip. On top of looking to come here, he's a great-grandfather for the very first time. His great-granddaughter Penelope was almost born at Madison Square Garden, but since she's here, a few hours after the Knicks lost their last game, they haven't lost since. For those of you that don't know my dad well, we do refer to him as the Chief. Chief would want to congratulate all the deserving award winners and honorees tonight, and he would like to thank the writers and anyone that had a hand in reuniting him with his friends and his contemporaries in the Horse Racing Museum. Chief started in this business like most. He loved the racetrack, loved to bet on the races. In 1995, Chief and his dad Oscar bought their first horse, Meadow Tarport. He won his first race. Then they cashed. The favorite in the race was a mare named Laughing Girl, and she was the back half of their exacta. He remembered how game she was and that she got a much tougher trip than his horse, and it left an impression on him that he never forgot. Chief met Norman Woolworth at his farm in Kentucky, and watching Norman at his farm and the way he interacted with the people there, he said to himself, when I grow up, I want to be like Norman. Norman owned Laughing Girl, and Chief really wanted her first foal. Eventually, Chief got that foal bought from Stanley Dancer, and his name was Most Happy Fella. Norman was a huge supporter of Blue Chip and a great friend of the Chief's. They were both on the executive committee of the Hamiltonian Society, and along with a lot of other great people there, they pioneered some great causes. In 1970, when Most Happy Fella was winning the Triple Crown, Blue Chip won the filly version of Pacing Triple Crown with 3 different pacing fillies, all of which were picked out by Hall of Famer Hal Jones, who was the manager of the farm at that time. Both Bill Brown and Most Happy Fella arrived at Blue Chip at the same year. It was quite a surprise that Bill Brown and his family would leave Castleton Farm in Kentucky. He was well regarded for his accomplishments there, and the arrival of Bill and Most Happy Fella spoke volumes to the business that Blue Chip in New York State were very much the real deal. People make the world go around, and my father is so honored to be reunited with friends and heroes like Billy Houghton, Stanley Dancer, Bill Popfinger, George Schulte, Del Cameron, John Campbell, Frank Antonacci, and so many more, with a very special shout out to his good friend that he's had so much fun with, Michel Lachance. Thank you all for sharing this with him, and as the Chief often says, live life, it's the greatest game ever invented. Thank you.
Mike. No, he didn't get called to the principal's office. I'm just saying.
You're two guys.
Oh, there's jewelry.
Yeah. And as Bill Poffinger said, it's real diamonds.
Over this way, Lou. There you go. We're not getting engaged.
Mark first. Mark first, right here. Mark. Okay, now my turn. Thank you.
And a box. Thank you. Box. No charge. At this time, I'd like to introduce Max Hempt to introduce our next living Hall of Famer.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to introduce our next inductee, Dr. John M. Egloff, better known to most of you as Tad. I've known Doc my entire life. He's been a partner, an advisor, a veterinarian to my grandfather, to my father, and he and I and his two sons, Mark and Jay, still continue to own and race horses together. All you need to do is walk through Doc's consignment at Vauquerie and take a look at the Wall of Fame and understand why he's here. All the great horses he's owned, bred, raised is unheard of. And it's not only a breeder, it's the work he's done behind the scenes. He's been a longtime member of the Hamiltonian Society, a founding member of the Standardbred Breeders Association of Pennsylvania, a member of the trustees of the museum. As my father said, he's the best damn veterinarian that you could ever have on a farm. It's my pleasure to introduce Doc Egloff.
Well, selecting Max Hempt to come up and introduce me was an easy choice. I've known him since he was 2 years old. His dad was my best friend for 40 years. But a lot of y'all sitting out there, when you see me up here, it's kind of like finding a turtle on top of a fence post. You wonder, how the hell did he get there? Well, I got there with a lot of help, just like that turtle. And the help I received was the people I was associated with for the last 50 years, starting out with Dr. Bill McGee at Hager Davidson McGee, who took me under his wing when I got out of vet school and sent me to Pennsylvania. But anyway, when I walked through the Hall of Fame, the number of people that I am looking at in it.
Enjoying a place to relax, compete, indulge, train, mingle, celebrate, get away, mix it up, and live your best life at one of the best places in Massachusetts. From the very beginning, one thing has been abundantly clear. It's different at Great Horse. So, we're going to start the betting years past, so thank you very much. We appreciate your generosity. So, if baseball is more your thing, then our second item will be a home run. We have 6 tickets in the general manager's suite at Yankee Stadium. These seats are not available to the public, and tickets are only redeemable through tonight's successful bidder. Fully catered with indoor and outdoor seating and parking for one vehicle. Tickets are for a mutually agreed upon date during the 2026 regular season only, subject to availability, and cannot be rolled over to 2027. This special package is donated by Brian. 3,000, 3,500. Any bids over here? I don't want to leave you out on that side of the room now. 4,000, 4,500, 5,000, 4,500, 5,000, $5,500. I got $5,500. How about $6,000? $6,000. $6,000. Oh, there we go, Mr. Antonacci. Okay, $6,000. We got a $6,000 bid. Very good. Okay. Waiting on a phone bid here. I'm sorry. $6,500 to you, Ms. Terhune. One moment, please. Now, if this was Tom Caldwell, I don't know if there would be a one. We're not going to wait. That's right. Here we go. We have a final bid of $6,000 on the floor. We're looking for $6,500 over here. Anybody else? 65. All right, here we go. $6,500 right here. Back to you for 7, Frank. Okay, $7,500. Yes. 8. No. 10. $10,000. Okay. Woo! Well, I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. So we should close the bidding at $10,000 unless there is an $11,000 bid out there. Thank you very much.
It is time now for the Living Horse Hall of Fame inductees. Let's start with Bettor's Wish, and a shout out to Art and Leah Zubrod right away. A son of Hall of Fame and Bettor's Delight, the talented Bettor's Wish race from 2018 to 2020, putting together a standout career, 24 wins, 13 seconds, and 4 thirds in 44 starts. He topped all standardbreds in 2019, banking $1,643,000. Remember, he was second in Messenger and second in the Breeders' Crown, and he still led. 2-time Dan Patch winner. Please welcome his trainer, Hall of Famer Chris Ryder, and all the connections of Bettor's Wish.
Okay, hi. Thanks everybody for attending. It's a real pleasure to be able to train such great horses, but to represent the owners of Bettor's Wish here tonight. I thank you all. So the owners were myself, or still are, myself, Scott and Lisa Esso, Art Zubrod, Leah, Eric Cherry, Dana Parnham. And when you look at the career of Bettor's Wish, he had 44 lifetime starts, or 41 times, first, second, or third, for 24 wins and $2.7 million. So he dominated as a 3-year-old in 2019 to be the highest earning colt that year. And then as a 3-year-old, he came back to prove his longevity, and he was Horse of the Year at 4. Age Pace of the Year at 4. So becoming a Hall of Fame horse isn't just about statistics. There's defining moments on the biggest stage, and there was a partnership forged during his racing career, and that was the first year that Dexter Dunn was driving here, and that was the first good horse that Dexter had to drive. I'm pretty proud of that, and I think Dexter is too. So that was the breakout horse for Dexter Dunn. It was kind of fitting. So Dexter that was his first time he was driver of the year that year, and since been driver of the year 5 times in a row. So thanks very much to the ownership group, to his caretaker, Alonso Martinez, for obviously taking great care of the horse. Thank you very much to the voters and the fans for cementing his legacy. And that's about it. I'm pleased to be here to have the honour of introducing him as a new member of the Hall of Fame. Thank you.
That's good. Okay, now my turn. Chris? Thank you.
Good. Thank you. What Chris Ryder left out of that was that in 2018, he insisted Dexter Dunn come here. He stayed with Chris. He was his landlord. And I'm pretty sure no rent exchanged hands. Buckeye St. Pat is up next. World champion trotting mare, trained by Mickey and Ron Burke. Raced for 7 years, on the board 79 of 105, 51 wins, 2 Breeders' Crowns, 3-time Dan Patch Older Trotting Mare of the Year. Definitely, truly a worthy Hall of Fame. Here's a stat for you, though. Mickey Burke and Ron Burke combined this week went past 95,000 starts and 20,100 wins. Buckeye St. Pat is the only horse they share a Dan Patch with, each. Mickey won one and Ron won one. Buckeye St. Pat for the Burkes, accepting on 2 of her owners, Howard Taylor and Sharon Fuller.
This is an honor, and the horses have always been a big part of my life. And having Buckeye has been the climax, and I want to thank all the horse people, the trainers, Mickey, Ron, Tim Petrie, and most of all, the people that put this together, the partners that I have, and all you people. It's been wonderful. I thank you all.
I first would like to give a shout out to our other 2 partners who couldn't make it here today, A. Basin, Ed Gold. Certainly they were a big part of this. I think Mrs. Fuller is not giving full credit to her husband, Ron, who was also the breeder, sold the horse and told me that Sharon was going to kill him if he didn't buy back. So I didn't have any choice. I didn't want to see him dead. So arranged to include him in, and we went 4th, and the rest is history. She was a great mare, great pleasure. Just when you go to the track every week, and she raced week in, week out, you knew you had a great chance to win, and you were going to win more than you were going to lose. I think it's a great honor, and I think it's well-deserved from her standpoint. I would like to say something. You learn something new every day. Well, I guess she's 21, so for the 20 years that I owned her, I told everybody, well, she's born in Ohio, and she's born on St. Patty's Day, so Buckeye St. Pat. Well, I found out tonight she wasn't born on St. Patty's Day. That's just what Ron told everybody, because he owned the name. So I have no idea still how the St. Pat came into it, but we love her still. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Don't be a stranger. You're right, Sharon. Don't be a stranger. Next up is Manchego, or as she was known in the press box, Man Can She Go. Earned in excess of $3.1 million, 39 for 65 in a career, trained by Jimmy and Nancy Tactor. Like the Burkes, both won Dan Patches. Manchego is undefeated at 2, 12 for 12, 3-time Breeders' Crown winner, and 3 straight years sub 150, and no female has ever done that before. Accepting of the connections here, one of the connections here is Barry Guerrilla, who somehow had the great pacing mare, Steinham's Place, coupled with Manchego. Not too many owners can say they've had mares on each gate like this. Come on up, the connections of Manchego.
Thank you, Hollywood. Thank you, everyone that voted on her. Manchego, which is the right way to say her name, but she's been called a lot of other things, Manchango, whatever. She was a great mare. This was a once-in-a-lifetime horse for us. I have a list of thank yous. Obviously, Jimmy Tactor had her at 2 and 3, led her to undefeated season, 12 for 12 at 2, capped by her Breeders' Crown win. I still believe she should have been Horse of the Year, but that's okay. Yannick, who drove her that entire season, and at 3. At 3, she won the Oaks for us, which was the first time I ever won a race like that. So it was great. Then we switched over to Nancy, who picked up right where Jimmy left off. She won 2 more Breeders' Crowns, several world records. One of them, which ironically enough fell last night, 148 and 4, but that's okay. And only because they're friends, I hate to correct the riders. Mr. Dexter Dunn drove Manchego as an age mare, and I think he did pretty well with her, but that's okay. We all love the sport and love the horses. A couple other special thank yous. Connie Svensson was her blacksmith her entire career, did a great job. Nancy, at times, there was always challenging. A couple things that we will never forget. Her one-of-a-kind gait. We just had a conversation the other day, Jimmy and I, that she had a bounce like a deer. I love watching her warm up, and I don't know if I'll ever see that again. Her raw speed, and of course, the one other item that was very unique. People thought she was lame at times. Well, when she would go to the gate, her head was crooked, but that was Manchego. Again, it was a great experience, a true champion, and thanks most of all to the horse Manchego. Thank you.
I just want to fill in a little bit here. You know, when we bought her, she was a little tiny horse. I mean, she was raised by Brittany Farm, and Manchego was quite small, and she cost 120,000, I believe, yeah. And Perry told me that this filly is like lightning. You know, I mean, and George liked her, right, George? But you thought she was a little bit on the small end. But fortunately for us, we were able to buy her, and she grew a little bit. And I gotta say, she was one of a kind. I don't think I ever sat behind a horse that had that kind of gait like this girl had. I mean, she had a bounce, and you know, I mean, we had the first foal, and unfortunately, she had like a couple issues with you know, epiglottis. But I think she have a cold selling this year, and I think that market, this is the one. He's checking out good, and he's selling Lexington this year. Good luck, guys.
Good job.
And we like to keep a piece in him and train with Nancy, all right?
I was fortunate enough to show up in Act 2 for Manchego's career, and I really need to thank Black Horse Racing for it makes me to get the opportunity to train her, because at the time I really hadn't had zero experience training trotters. Fortunately, since then I've won 2 Hamiltonians, but before then I had no experience training trotters. And you know, she finished her 3-year-old season kind of on an off note, and the plan was that she was going to go be a broodmare. So I really have to give kudos to you guys for bringing her back so we could all enjoy her.
There you go, right here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One more?
One more. That's good.
Thank you. Great, thank you very much. Don't go too far, Jimmy Takter. Jimmy Takter won the Triple Crown in 2014, but he did it with different horses. Nunzio never missed the board in the first 4 years of racing. 42 wins, 14 seconds, 4 thirds, 63 starts. Trained by Jimmy, 2/3 of the Triple Crown Yonkers Trot. He later went on to win the Elite Lot. He was Horse of the Year in Sweden. He did that before, when he had a horse called Kramer Boy over here who got money in the Hambo, and then the next year was the Swedish Horse of the Year. Nunzio, he won the two legs, but the race he didn't win was the race Jimmy did win with Trixon in the Hambletonian. Either way, a $7,000 yearling is not supposed to win $3.6 million. Nunzio did it. Accepting for his breeder Russell Williams is Jimmy Takter.
Well,
Don't pick it up.
it's all right. Okay, 2014 was a special year for me because I was fortunate enough to have the three best trotting colts in the country. And, Stefan Melander called me up, that year when he turned 3 because Jim Oskarsson was going back to Sweden and if I could train the horse. And I trained Father Patrick, which was the best 2-year-old in the country. And I said, yeah, sure. And back in those days, Marcus Melander worked for me, and so I ended up with this horse. And I gotta say, he was a headstrong horse when we got him, but gosh, he turned out to be great. I mean, it's guidance of John Campbell. He did a tremendous job with his horse. He ended up winning second. Thank God he wasn't maybe as good, so I ended up winning myself with a Hambletonian that year. But he won the Yonkers Trot, Kentucky Futurity. He went to Sweden to the owner, Stefan Melander, and he ended up winning Elite Lop, and he's a tremendous stallion in Europe now, so we're very proud of him. I'm very happy to train that horse. He was a lovely horse. Congratulations to Melander family to owning this horse. Thank you.
Okay, now my turn. Thank you. Thank you.
Jimmy. Good goal, Jimmy Takter.
I'm going to go off script for like 1 minute, but I listened to Jimmy and he mentioned John Campbell, and I listened to this one, he mentioned this one. So we have a room full of Hall of Famers, and I think we should recognize them all. So if they're all here, please stand up if you're a Hall of Famer. Thank you very much. At this time, I want to bring up one of those Hall of Famers, a gentleman who was very kind to me when I was training horses, Mr. George Siegel, to announce our next Hall of Famer. George?
I'm here to welcome Marvin Katz to the Hall of Fame, and welcome the Hall of Fame to Marvin Katz. Marvin, for the last 30 years, has been unbelievable. He's an owner and he's a breeder. And the combination fed on each other. The ownership got him involved in breeding, and the breeding got him involved more in ownership. Marvin has had a Hambletonian winner, 4 Hambletonian Oaks, 2 North American Cups, 4 Metros, 16 Breeders' Crowns, One Horse of the Year. He's on the board of Woodbine. He's a member of the Hamiltonian Society. And his awards, Dan Patch Breeder of the Year, Stan Bergstein Achievement. I didn't even know he won all these awards. But I want to say something that makes Marvin different, exceptional. Marvin has started the Breeders' Crown Charity Challenge 7 years ago. Not only did he start it, he worked on it. And he's raised $2.4 million for charities associated or recommended by the host track of the Breeders' Crown. That means the Meadowlands, Woodbine, Hoosier Park, and coming up at Scioto Downs. So I just want the society to know they're getting the best. Marvin.
How good is it to have George introduce you? I wish my dad was here tonight. I really do. He would have enjoyed it. Good evening, everyone. Standing here tonight, being inducted into the Harness Racing Hall of Fame is both humbling and deeply meaningful. To be recognized alongside the greats of this industry, those who have shaped the sport, is an honor beyond anything I could have ever imagined. To the Hall of Fame Selection Committee and all its voters, my profound, heartfelt thank you for this great honor. My journey to this moment did not begin in the winner's circle. I was born in a displaced persons camp in Germany, and I came to Canada as a young boy with my parents, David and Marjorie Katz. I was introduced to this sport by my father. As a young boy, I would accompany him to Greenwood Raceway in Toronto, and from the very first moment, I was captivated. I loved the horses. I loved the competition, the excitement, and the people. Little did I know that this would become one of the great passions and endeavors of my life. There are many people that I've shared this journey with. First and foremost, I want to thank my wife, Lynn, a woman of enormous talent, intelligence, compassion, and beauty. We are one another's greatest supporters and closest confidants. We truly are a team. And all this would not have been possible for me without Lynn's unwavering support. Please know I love you. About 50 years ago, Sam Goldband and I co-founded the KG Group, a company that specializes in residential apartment development, management, and ownership. Today, the KG Group is recognized in Toronto as one of the leaders in this industry. We have truly built a company that we are both incredibly proud of and seek to carry on with our families. Sam, myself, and our mutual friend, Al Lepfeld, shared a deep and keen interest in harness racing. We became known to many as the Three Amigos. We pursued excellence with purpose, patience, and passion. We were fortunate that a great deal of excellence would follow. I look back fondly and deeply cherish the great memories and experiences that we all shared. I first met George Siegel about 40 years ago at Hanover Shoe Farm. We were both there looking at their new yearling crop. George was accompanied by the great and renowned Gene Regal. At that time, I, unfortunately, thought I knew a great deal more than I actually did. Many of us know that feeling. George and I had dinner together that evening, and I immediately recognized I was in the company of harness racing greatness. Today, I'm privileged to call George a dear friend and proudly share ownership in a number of horses with him. Thank you, George. I soon realized that to have prolonged success in harness racing, you must surround yourself with skilled and talented people. This is the foundation of the business approach that I have maintained to this day. For many years now, I have been incredibly fortunate to have been associated with a remarkable team. Bart Glass, before his passing, Perry Soderberg, Bobby Brady, Jimmy Glass have been constants in my life and in my work. They are not just colleagues. They are trusted friends who have become family through the years of shared efforts. Through all of it, their loyalty, judgment, and work ethic have never failed. In this sport, many often talk about horses and results, but the truth is, everything depends on the people. I have been blessed with some of the very best. I have also had the privilege of working alongside with some of the most gifted horse people in this sport. Trainers such as my dear friend, Jimmy Tactor, who played a pivotal role in both our racing and breeding operations. Love you. Nancy Tactor, Julie and Andy Miller, Tony Alanya, and many more that I have failed to mention. Each of them brought not only extraordinary talent, but a relentless pursuit of excellence. Working with them taught me that greatness in this sport is never accidental. It is built through discipline, vision, and care. To the drivers who brought so many of those horses to life on the racetrack, John Campbell, David Miller, Ron Pierce, Yannick Gingras, Tim Tetrick, Dexter Dunn, and Scotty Zeron, so many others. You are the ones who turned preparation into performance. I have watched all of you deliver numerous victories that define pressure and expectation, and I have been honored to share those moments with all of you. Thank you dearly. Every owner dreams of having a great horse, and I've had the privilege and honor to be associated with many extraordinary horses. Horses such as Dream Away, Creamy Mimi, Muscle Massive, Captain Treacherous, Father Patrick, Ariana G, Bar Hopping, Tall Dark Stranger, Kissin' in the Sand, Special Way, and so many more. Have all brought excitement, pride, and unforgettable memories. These champions gave us thrilling victories, but more importantly, they reminded us of why we love this sport. These special horses become part of our family. We follow every race, every challenge, and every triumph. They teach us patience, humility, and an appreciation for greatness. I've always believed that harness racing should think bigger, act bigger, and give back bigger. That belief led me to the creation of the Breeders' Crown Charity Challenge, an initiative that showed what our industry can accomplish when it comes together. Under that vision, we raised millions of dollars for charitable causes, while highlighting the generosity and humanity that exists throughout the harness racing world. This initiative reflects who I strive to be, a man who understands success only matters when it is shared, and no one walks this journey alone. As I reflect on this honor, I realize that harness racing has given me much more than great horses and memorable victories. It has given me friendships that have lasted a lifetime. It has given me opportunities to work alongside extraordinary people. It has given me challenges that taught me perseverance and success that taught me gratitude. I accept this honor with tremendous gratitude and great respect for all those who help make it possible. To my father, David, thank you for opening the door. To my wife, Lynn, thank you for walking every step of this journey with me. To my friends, partners, trainers, drivers, and team members, Perry, Bobby, Jimmy, thank you for sharing this remarkable adventure. And to our children and grandchildren who are here tonight, and those who are watching and unable to attend, please know that your love and wavering support fills our lives immeasurably. Lastly, to the Harness Racing Hall of Fame, thank you for this extraordinary recognition. I am deeply honored, profoundly grateful, and proud to be part of this sport, which has enriched my life in so many ways. Thank you, all of you, so very, very much.
Can I ask George Siegel to please come up? And George, I want you should be the one presenting the ring to Mr. Capps.
Over here. Let's get Mark's first. Look over here, please. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
At this time, I would like to introduce Jimmy Tactor, who obviously wants my job and wants to be up here all the time. So, Jimmy, come back.
I retired in 2018 and feel like I'm back in action here. But it's okay. You know, it's like, it's an honor for me, you know, tonight to introduce my good friend, Derek Ebner. You know, everybody know that, well, you know, I've been fortunate enough to spend, you know, part of my life in Europe, and actually, you know, as old I am now, major part in the United States. But I know how important media is. I mean, media is probably the most important thing we have, you know, and we have to get our sport out. And, you know, which is hard, because unfortunately we just reading for ourselves in here. I mean, we got to get out of there, but, you know, it's hard. It's hard for these people to get the voice out. But this guy here, you know, Derek, you know, I've known Derek for, you know, at least 15 years maybe. He's been around, and this guy dedicated 30 years in his life into this sport. And this guy have done basically everything anyone can do as a reporter in harness racing. This guy have been writing, interviewing, announcing, handicapping. I see him on Meadowlands. He's all over, this guy. And even drove some races. He's just an amazing guy. I always appreciated his knowledge. This guy, you know, as a kid, I grew up with all the reporters, and, you know, there is stupid reporters. You know, they're asking stupid questions. But Derek have that knowledge. You know, it's not like he's out to stab you in the back. He's out to, you know, get the good story and try to promote the sport. And he got a good eye for the sport. And everybody in this sport, you know, trainers and drivers, I know they like Derek. They think he's a fair guy and he writes very well. But, you know, also nobody reached this level without support. He have his wife, Stephanie. I can just imagine how many lonely nights she's by herself when he's out in doing shows there, and it's a tough job for a wife too. You know, so hang on. And his two daughters, Jenna and Emily, is also here. I haven't seen them, but I know they are here. Derek, thank you for everything you have done for our sport. Really, we sincerely think you have done a super great job for us, and you well deserve this job, and this honor. And I want everybody to welcome Derek to Hall of Fame.
great. You did great.
It's a lot of people here. I want to thank Jimmy first for doing that. I probably met Jimmy for the first time maybe 20 years ago in the Yonkers Raceway paddock. I remember it like it was yesterday. I went up to him, I think he had a horse in the Messenger, and I said, Jimmy, you're known as the trotting master. What it's like to have a horse in a pacing race? And he looked me dead in the eye and he said, I won the effing jug. Right then and there, I knew I was going to like this guy. I mean, his commitment to the sport and, you know, the way he treats the media, he's always there to answer my calls, you know, when he was training, and I always appreciated it. You know, he's a candid guy, so thank you for doing that. I want to thank everyone for coming down, you know, who came for me, friends, family. I want to thank the people who voted for me, without a doubt, and all my peers, you know, for voting for me, and for the people who got elected to the Hall of Fame on the other side, not the communicators wing, obviously, as well. You're all very deserving. I don't really enjoy the spotlight, so most of the time up here I'm going to talk about the other people who maybe played a role. It starts with my mom. You know, my first job out of college, you know, was basically working for my mom at her hair salon, and clearly, I'm a hair guy, you know. She took me to the track for the first time. I believe it was Meadowlands when I was 16, because my dad would never take me to Monticello when we used to go up to the Catskills. So I have her to thank me for the first ever trip to the track. I want to thank her for her support, for encouraging me when I really didn't know what I wanted to do as a 20-year-old guy out of college. I want to give a shout out to Peter Iovino, because he's the guy I went to the track with in the beginning, and who knew all those Fridays going to Yonkers Raceway to see Dr. Trotter and Scenic Regal and H.H. Killington, that one day I'd be writing about the stars of the sport. I certainly never imagined that would be happening in my life. I want to thank Kenny Walters, who was supposed to be here tonight but couldn't make it. He gave me a chance to write my first article for Sports Eye, you know, and you know, if I didn't get that opportunity, maybe I wouldn't even have gotten, you know, too into writing and doing this stuff. Another person that's not here that I think played a role in this is Dennis Laterza, who was my trainer, but more than my trainer, he helped me learn how to get in the bike and drive in the amateur races. And I feel like that really gave me a better appreciation for what drivers do on the track, and, you know, a better appreciation for the horses in general, you know, and he was really kind to me. I didn't have a lot of money. I really couldn't afford a horse. I had a $4,000 claimer, and he basically charged me nothing. You know, whatever it costs to feed the horse, just so I can participate in the amateur series. So I owe a little bit of that to him. I want to thank all my freelancers, you know, who've worked for me over the years. It's hard to mention them all, but I'll single out Jay Bergman, you know, who was my boss when I first started, and then I ended up getting the thing, you know, DRF took over, and, you know, first thing I thought of was, let's bring Jay back. You know, he's been writing for me for 15 years or so, and, you know, I think he's been very kind to write, you know, what I need him to write. You know, it might not have been what he wanted to write, maybe not as edgy as he wanted it to be, or as edgy as everyone else wanted it to be, but it was what needed to be written, and I appreciate the fact that he's been around all these years with me. I'm not sure I could be where I am right now without the help of Greg Reinhardt. I mean, you guys don't see him. You know, he kind of exists behind the scenes somewhere. But when I first started with, you know, the DRF harness part, I was doing everything myself. I was taking pictures, interviewing, writing the stories, running up to the press box, back and forth, up and down those stairs at the old Meadowlands, and it was taking a toll on me. It was a lot. And Greg's behind the scenes writing recaps, posting tweets, you know, doing all the things that are required to, you know, provide great coverage to everyone here. Then there's Matt Rose. He's kind of my right-hand man. He's smiling over there right now. I plucked him from the dungeon at Yonkers Raceway. Literally, that's what we used to call it, the room right by the freight elevator at Yonkers Raceway. I went up to him and said, "You look like you have half a brain. Do you want a job?" And 25 years later, you know, he's still there with me, and he's still doing it, you know, helping the First Sports Eye, Harness Eye, DRF Harness brands all succeed. You know, we call him the, or at least I like to call him the hyphen happy guy. He's the guy who's dotting the I's and crossing the T's, while I'm trying to look at the big picture of, what's going to go in the newsletter and what's going to go online and stuff like that. I couldn't do what I do without the help of everyone in the industry. Track management, drivers, trainers, caretakers, breeders, and everyone in between. Your cooperation is vital to providing the best content to the public. So whether you roll your eyes when my name pops up on your phone, or you smile and look forward to hearing me, I want to thank you all for, taking the time to be part of it. I want to thank the most important people in my life, my wife Stephanie, my daughters Jenna and Emily. They put up with my unending commitment to see every single race, whether it's at the dinner table, on vacation, in the car, on a plane, at a soccer game. None of them have the passion for the sport that I have. Quite frankly, I don't think any of them like it very much. It's probably my fault because I've oversaturated them with it. But they've stomached it. They've stomached reroutes. From my honeymoon, we went to Tour de Valet in Rome to go see the track there. When we went to San Diego, we went to the zoo, but we also stopped at Del Mar, of course. And on a recent trip, we went to Canada, and on the way home, we were flying out of Buffalo. I said, we got to stop at Fort Erie on the way home and check out Fort Erie, because I've never been there before. Their understanding, their love, that's why I'm able to do what I do week after week and year after year. Honestly, I'm not the best rider in the world, in my opinion. I don't even think I'm the best rider in harness racing, quite frankly. But I think I'm standing here today because no one works harder, has more story ideas, or more passion to write them. DRF Harness doesn't exist because someone handed it to me. I pushed the idea, I kept pushing until they agreed that it made sense. It's a good lesson for younger people out there that if you want something enough and you put the work in, you can make it happen. I love harness racing. I think everyone in this room knows I love harness racing. I love the puzzle of handicapping, the grace of the horses, the fierce on-track battles, the people in the spotlight, and the people behind the scenes who make it great. I couldn't imagine a different path in life, and I'm so grateful to have been a small part of its history. Thank you, everyone.
You're smart. You listen to him. He's the best in this sport.
Thank you so much. You can always learn from me every day. I appreciate it, Jay.
No.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I'd like to take you back to 1958 for a second. The King and I, Oscar Hammerstein, Broadway, from the song Getting to Know You. It's an ancient saying, but a true and honest thought, that if you become a teacher, by your pupils you be taught. Gertrude Lawrence said, she took that one step further. As a teacher, I've learned, and forgive me if I boast, that now I've become an expert on the subject I like most. Ellen Taylor, HHYF, Harness Horse Youth Foundation. How deliciously ironic that this night has fallen smack in the middle of their 50th anniversary season. Folks, in charity, there is no excess. If you want to be the best, you have to dare to do things that no one else will. Ellen cuts no corners, turns over every rock, is old school and proud of it. Just like her mother, Margot, who got the ball rolling with the kids, she's not an approximator, she's a precisionist. She's an organizer. She's a unifier, and yes, a pacifier. She's a friend, a foe, a fighter, and a force. She possesses a tenacious indifference to failure. She has to set the highest standards for her organization with no tolerance for nonsense. She knows of no compromise. She's a conduit for a divine gift. You know, Ellen's grads are populated in every aspect of the industry throughout North America, and not just in racing. Families and parents have marveled at the difference that HHYF has made in their children, very often a turning point and even an awakening of sorts. Did you know Ellen was published at age 13 in Hubbell in the 70s? It was her unofficial embarking on her calling, her mission, her journey. Take your pick on that one there. You know, Ellen and I, we've been together 13 years. But you're never quite sure what's coming in the next 10 minutes with Ellen. 6, 7 years ago, we're walking into the Red Mile. About 100 yards away, and off to the right, Sam Bowie's walking in, nobody in between, also about 70, 80 yards away. Ellen says, you know, you can always tell from a distance it's Sam Bowie. So I said to myself, I'm going to play along with this. Let's see, he's played 12 years in the NBA, he's in the Kentucky Basketball Hall of Fame, he's drafted before Michael Jordan, he's 7'1". I'm going to play along. I said, really? She said, yeah, he's got such a distinctive walk. If they ever actually made a statue of Ellen Taylor, you'd probably want to start with an 8.5 by 11 of Mom Margot Taylor. If you knew Margot and now know Ellen, you realize that 8.5 by 11 is not that far from being actual life size. 13 years ago tonight, I was lucky enough to go into the Hall of Fame. If you don't believe it was 13 years ago tonight, we went out with another couple over here that were gracious enough to drive us and be with us that night, Jimmy and Christina Tactor. Our first date, 13 years ago, here we are again. Let's welcome Ellen Taylor to the Hall of Fame.
Congratulations to each of tonight's honorees, and thank you to the USHWA membership for recognizing this Hoosier with Communicators Hall of Fame distinction. First, my acknowledgement to my higher power, who has blessed me with such wonderful opportunities both within and outside of harness racing. As you may have heard from Bob, racing is my heritage, so much so that I recently found the hospital receipt from my birth and discovered my delivery fees were traded out for a training bill. At the risk of redundancy, I simply must recognize my deceased parents, Dick and Margot. My mom was the flame, and my dad was the log, both vitally important to the warmth and security and value systems, all of which have sustained me throughout my life. Perhaps the biggest compliment I have ever received was from the late Stan Bergstein, who commented to my parents, "Ellen is the best of both of you." As you may know, a couple of years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer, which has given me much time to reflect and see that my support system is larger and more caring than I could have ever imagined. In moments during my treatments, combined with the timing of this honor, I have discovered so many individuals who have guided and lifted me that it would be impossible to name them all. From family to old and new friends to former and present HHYF trustees, business associates, and to every young person who has attended an HHYF camp or program, please know that how much having you in my life means to me. Along with all the racehorses over the years, every single one of you have touched my heart. There are 4 humans, however, that deserve special recognition. Olivia Kimmelman, the too fast-talking, always shorter than me, daughter of generational harness horse people who I have watched grow into a kind, forthright, and extremely real human being. Please accept my apologies, Olivia, for the tears that were shed when I was only being honest at various times during the HHYF discussions. Love you. Katie Ike, who is the absolute best example of my 48 years of dedication to HHYF, and in my opinion explains why does HHYF matter in the most tangible way. At the age of 12, she attended an hour-long Girl Scout presentation in New Jersey. Horse crazy, but with no harness racing experience. Since then, Katie has progressed through every level of HHYF, from the Harness Racing Youth League to leadership, to volunteer, to intern, to scholarship recipient, and now currently serves as HHYF Vice President. I'm confident that Katie has become a harness racing lifer, as she has earned her college degree along with her trainer's and driver's license, worked in various capacities at farms and stables, as well as caretaker, in racing management positions, and most recently added charter and racing writer to her resume. Thank you, Katie, for serving for such a wonderful inspiration to me both professionally and personally. The next person is much like my mom. She's incredibly strong, iron-willed, outspoken, and opinionated. She's fiery, yet has a heart of gold. She served as my boss, my partner in crime, my mentor, and my personal support system during the lowest times of my life. Thank you, Callie, for staying by my side for the past 4 decades. Lastly, Bob, my significant best friend for the past 13 years. You are my amazing, sometimes annoying, idiot savant.